I wanted to do something a little bit different today and tell you about a memory of mine that means a lot to me. When I was 15 years old, now this is back in, this story takes place, if I can trust the dates that are printed on the back of these photos I'm about to show you, it says it was August of 1998. So before Y2K and all that craziness. I was 15 years old. I was given the opportunity to go to Alaska. And this trip was part of a ministry of our church that was called Men for Missions. And it was a group of men who, many of which had experience or skills in building, in construction, electrical, plumbing, etc. And some of them just were passionate about serving others and helping. So this group of, man, I want to say it was probably, I don't know, I would just say it was probably about 15 people, 15 guys, and several of their sons as well. I was one of the sons that got to travel on this particular trip. Got to go out to Alaska, and the purpose of this particular trip was to build two homes, two-story homes, for, I believe it was for a pastor and for the principal of the school that were out there. And so this group of us, we go to Chicago O'Hare Airport, and right away our flight is delayed, which was, it seemed unfortunate at the time. One of my friends that was with us was an incredible violinist. And so he got his violin out and started playing. And that really captured the attention of the other passengers who were also on flights that were delayed. Kind of helped soothe their feelings and help people be calm and relaxed. I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see, I'm just kind of pulling out some random ones here. I got to go with my dad. This is my dad here. My dad has for a long time been very passionate about cinematography of a sort, right? And one of the things he really enjoyed doing was bringing a camera along and capturing memories of things just like this, where we're going out to serve others and do things to help other people. And he enjoyed capturing that on video and making videos to help other people be aware of the types of needs that there are out there. And he actually went on a number of trips. This was one of them. He got to go to, there's a prison ministry that was in Los Angeles that he went to visit and do some video there. He got to go to St. Thomas, the island of St. Thomas, to help rebuild a church that had been destroyed by a hurricane. So really got some cool opportunities as a result of doing that ministry. I thought this was funny. I think this was a restaurant we had dinner in. Kind of goofy. Let's see. There's me behind a camera. Just a simple point and shoot film camera. Probably the camera that took most of these photos, actually. I don't think it was anything fancy. It was, I can see here it says Fujifilm Sure Shot with a little pop-up flash. Nothing fancy, that's for sure. But yeah, I loved capturing images. I wish I had more images from back then. I don't know, there's probably some floating around somewhere. Here's my dad helping with something on the computer. And there again, his overalls. It was a good trip. Let's see. In this image, you can see the mountains in the background here. And then this, what kind of looks like an island here in the middle, that is the Kenai Peninsula. It's, I'm sorry, Kenai Peninsula is a larger area in Alaska. This is Homer's Spit. Homer's Spit. And it's basically this little strip of land that goes out into the bay. And here at this end of it, it's basically just wide enough for a single lane or maybe a 2-lane road. And that's all it is. It's just the road. And then you drive out and it kind of broadens out a little bit, and there's some shops and some restaurants out there. That was pretty cool. It was fun to visit Homer's Spit. Let's see, here's another one. Here's me standing by one of the bays. A big piece of driftwood here. And this, what is that? I think that's my, oh, that jacket I'm wearing. That's funny. It's, I think it's an Illini jacket. I must have got it from my brother. And I'm wearing a macOS 8 t-shirt. That's pretty old. macOS 8. Here we are. Anchor Point, Alaska, North America's most westerly highway point. That is quite literally the end of the road. It's very cool. And while we were standing there, you look off in the distance and you could see volcanoes. Or at least, I mean, to me they look like mountains, but they were described to me as being actual active volcanoes. So that was the first time I'd ever seen a volcano, even if I didn't realize that that's what I was looking at. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is a reminder of the type of character I was back in 1998. See, I would have been probably a sophomore if I was 15. Yeah, I would have been a sophomore in high school. For some reason, I thought this was hilarious. And I don't know why. I mean, even my friends were doing it too. It was so goofy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but just kind of shows you the kind of goofball I was. Here we go. There's us working on one of the houses. One of the things that I remember about this trip was many of the days that we were there. We were there for a full week, and more than half the week, I want to say probably 5 out of the 6 days, it rained, which is unfortunate because we're there to do construction work outside, obviously. So somebody had brought in these huge sheets of plastic and basically set it up like tents. So the rainwater would collect on the plastic and then run off the sides. But at least we were able to work under the plastic and still get some work done. But yeah, it was pretty wet. That was the first time I ever rode a, I think it was a 4-wheeler. I don't think it was a 3-wheeler. But I'd never ridden something like that before. I got a chance to ride one of those for the first time. That was cool. It was a lot of fun. We also went to Glacier National Park. I saw my first glacier. That was pretty cool. Oh man, so many cool things. There's the glacier again. Another guy I went to high school with. I can't remember his name. Isn't that awful? All right, last one. Here's the group. So, and it wasn't just men. It was some of the men brought their wives with as well. So it was a group of men and women and a handful of us kids that came along on this particular trip. Quite an opportunity. Not something that I ever thought I would get to do, but I'm really, really grateful for the opportunity to have been included in that trip. I got to serve some people that, maybe I didn't know them, but they needed help building their homes, and I got to be a small part of that. And it was such a blessing. Honestly, it was things like that that helped shape my character, I guess, to shape my work ethic. And it's interesting because it reminds me, one of the other projects that that group worked on was a house for our music pastor for our church. And I remember, and I think it may have been before this trip, so I might have been a little bit younger, but I remember being there, and I was there with another friend, and didn't do quite as good a job as I should have. I spent a little bit too much time hanging out with my friend instead of seeing what I could do to be helpful. And I remember after that really, you know, really having it weigh really heavily on my heart that the way that I had behaved was inappropriate. And so I remember speaking with our pastor about that later, and apologizing to him that I was there really kind of wasting their time and getting in their way. So it was hard. It was hard to admit that what I had done was wrong, but I'm glad that I did, because I felt like that helped to restore that relationship, right? That family is such a wonderful family, and they still are even today. I haven't seen many of them in many, many years, but they're such wonderful people, and I'm so blessed to have had them in my life. So even though I maybe didn't make the right choice in the time, I'm glad that I had the opportunity to learn that lesson. And now it's my turn to help pass that along to my kids. So anyway, I don't know. I'd seen this stack of photos in my bookshelf here the other day, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna share a little bit about that story, that trip to Alaska that I got to take way back when. So, future grandkids, if you're wanting to know a little bit about some of the experiences I had when I was a teenager, there you go. That was one of my favorites, going to Alaska. If you ever get the chance to go to Alaska, definitely take that opportunity. It is a beautiful, beautiful place. It'll blow your mind. It's very, very nice. All right. Anyway, you have a great evening. See, I can't talk anymore. better pull out while I'm still ahead. Yeah, it's falling apart. Okay. Have a good night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.